What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Soaring Stories podcast. This is me again, Agatha Magsumbol, and for this month, I'll be talking to my former church friend whom I stayed in touch with, and I really appreciate her being supportive ever since I started this thing. So, finally, we had the opportunity to meet and talk about something really fun and meaningful for, I believe, all of us. So I hope you guys will enjoy this conversation with Ate Nissi.
Thank you so much for having me, Agatha.
Hey. So, first of all, thank you for accepting my invitation, Ate Nissi. I really appreciate your interest na whenever you approach me asking me about the podcast and your overall support. I really feel that and I really appreciate it. Kaya I approached you on like yung reminder on being a guest kasi I know that you've had an interest for so long na. So finally we're here.
Yeah, actually, I was surprised kasi years ago pa when you said that to me, when magsa-start ka pa lang, or nag-start ka na.
Magsa-start pa lang.
Oo, yeah. Kasi I think it was through TikTok na you saw me with my vlogs or what when I share sometimes.
yung
And then
POV.
you mentioned na you think it would be nice to have me as a guest. And then at the time, I think I was working. I had a job kasi back in the pandemic,
yeah.
2021. I had a job uh as a podcast managing editor.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you don't know?
I think
Yeah,
I mention mo
think
po
I
yun,
did
pero
a bit.
I'm not that
But
familiar yet.
yeah, so it was so cool because I was already familiar a bit with podcasts, and then you came along. So
And finally, we're here after so long. So thank you so much again for the support. I really appreciate, lalo na kanina when you told me na my voice is good, ganun. I really appreciate the encouragement. So, yeah, before we delve into the overall topic, I have a question for you, an icebreaker. I honestly just saw this on a TikTok video where some guy randomly asked people, "What is your current favorite song and
what
why?"
is my current favorite
And if
song?
you could sing at least one lyric, I'll answer it too. Yeah, pero ikaw muna.
Okay. Right now, I kind of like the mga quite popular releases like Ariana Grande's Eternal Sunshine album. Her old album is really good.
Yeah.
Like the whole March when it came out, that's all I've been listening to most of the time. And Taylor Swift's new TTPD album. The whole thing, including Anthropology.
If you could pick one from those two albums,
Oh,
and
that's
you
so
could sing
hard. Can I
at least
have one of each? Can I say one of each from each of the albums, one song?
yeah, sure. As long as you're gonna sing like one.
Okay.
Or like, tell me the
I'm
lyrics.
working late because I'm a singer. No, that's Sabrina's. But aside, Sabrina's song is also such a bop. But I could say from Taylor's album, it's Down Bad.
Ah, yes.
Down bad, crying at the gym. Everything, na teenager, not regular if I can't have
Yeah.
him. My na. That one and Ariana Grande's Supernatural.
Oh.
It's supernatural. The one with Troye Sivan. It's really good.
Ah, yeah.
Because I really like whenever they collab, they sound so good together. They had a collab na rin before, yung Dance Like This. Dance, yung pop na song na
I haven't
Dance.
heard it yet, pero it's familiar.
Dance something. Dance to this. We can just dance to this. Shoot it with my body.
alright,
Na 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 na. Don't with Troye Sivan. So, yeah.
Alright, nice.
Yun na lang.
Since we're on new releases, I am sort of a Swiftie myself. So with the new album, Tortured Poets Department, I love the I Can Do It With a Broken Heart.
Yeah, of course.
'Cause I'm a real tough kid. I can
can
handle
handle
it. Yeah. So, she's really a poet. I love her lyrics, how she uses yung mga
Yes, I also like
highfalutin
her
words.
underrated songs. Like The Black Dog is really nice.
Yeah.
I was listening it so bad like yes, last night and this morning. I saw kasi a TikTok that like enlightened me when she explained that song. Yung line na there's a line
Yeah, you can
I'm
search go lang.
screaming something instead of it's a metaphor, but she put something else to it and she said I'm screaming instead of sorry.
No, it's fine. You can search go lang.
Search ko lang. The Black Dog lyrics. It's the opening kasi of Anthropology.
Yeah.
And
Yung
they said
extended version.
Yeah, they said that it's the one that like describes that's the song that encapsulates the whole album. Old habits die screaming.
Ah.
It's such a nice lyric because diba, we usually say old habits die hard.
Yeah.
But when you say old habits die screaming, it's like she made it more exaggerated in a way that they don't just die hard, they die echoing. Parang it's like echoing with you. For
Yeah.
example, you have a old habit that you keep on coming back to. So it's like it's screaming. So it's such a nice lyric that I didn't really think about when I heard it at first. But since that TikTok, I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. So, work-life balance. Do you have work-life balance? Do I have work-life balance? Let's find out.
That's a nice question. Because like I think it's nice aside from talking about the topic, it's nice to know if you also achieved it in your personal life because for me I think it takes time to really get there, especially if you're starting. It's important to have grace
Yeah.
when it comes to trying to figure it out, because I think before, since I've had experience working while I was studying, I don't think I had, honestly. But now, since I'm really working like professionally and practicing with my license talaga. By the way, if you didn't know, to the listeners, I'm a nurse. I'm a registered nurse. I took the board exam last November 2023 and I
Congratulations. Yeah.
passed. And I actually just started working in the hospital since my first day officially on board, when we call it onboarding, is February 26. So I'm like a month plus or already 2 months. 2 months
2 months,
na kasi it's already 28.
Yeah.
April 28. So around 2 months na ako nagwo-work sa hospital. And honestly, I think it's easier to have work-life balance if your work is something you really go to physically,
Yeah.
as compared as if you're just working from home or with a laptop.
Yeah.
Because it really builds a boundary in your head, like, okay, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna travel, when I get there, work.
Yeah.
Yes, so you can prepare yourself in all aspects before you go to work. Kasi diba, you ligo, you take a bath, you
Especially during the pandemic, right? When everyone
diba?
was work from home.
Diba?
So,
So when I contrast
Yeah.
it right now, since I had a remote job before while I was studying, I was third year college when I was managing editor of a podcast. So I mentioned that earlier, but I was managing editor of Kwentuang Pilipina, a podcast by Cleo, who is the owner of Hiraya Pilipina.
oh yeah. Now I remember.
Now you
Okay,
remember.
yeah.
So
I bought a few items.
yeah,
from
you have a
Hiraya.
tote bag. That's why
The
when I
tote
saw
bag
you
and the
wear it.
Taylor Swift shirt.
Yeah,
only
when I
there.
saw you wear it, I was
love
like,
that
oh, I was already
Yeah.
working for them that time. It's like, oh, you're wearing. So it was
I love
super
that brand.
refreshing to
So
see.
nice.
And by the way, that was like Cleo's passion project back then, and she didn't have anybody to like help with her in terms of that. And then she was looking for it. I just saw it in her IG story, and then
Yeah.
I was interested, so I applied. Funny story was, during our interview, she told me that I'll be the last one who she'll interview. And I was like, okay. But at my head, it didn't connect that it meant that she chose me. That's what she meant pala. Like
Congrats!
for
That's so
other,
nice. You got
yeah,
to
so
work for a
it was super
very
cool
nice
for me
brand.
to experience and also hone that part of me that I kind of closed off in a way. I mean, not really. I don't have a blog. I don't have like any formal way. I just journal from time to time. I like doing monthly reflections because my goal is at the end of the year I read it all. Like every month I read it all out at the end of the year just for something to look back on. So I've been writing since I was like elementary because parang we've had composition, notebooks, we have those things that practice. And I remember my teacher back in elementary pa commending me before that like me kasi I'm masipag with recording. Like we have this thing back in elementary that we'd write our plans by the day. So when it's finished, mine is usually complete talaga till the end. So there's something like that. And it's
Ah,
something that I really practice. I carried over until now in my work because we do charting. So we
yeah.
also have to record everything that we
So you're
do.
very organized.
No. I just like I'm just masipag talaga when it's
Yeah.
when it comes to writing, and I'm kind of fast with it
Yeah.
too. So
So how do
so
you
yeah.
balance your work and your life?
Yeah.
So like now, diba, how many days off do you have?
Every 15 days we have 5 days off.
Oh, so how do you make the most of your days off?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. But before that, when you said how do you balance work and your life, I think it's also important to know that your work is part of your life. So
Actually, that's a good point.
so
Yes.
right so like the reason why we like to separate it or we say that is because sometimes we forget that we have people or we have commitments outside of work.
Yeah.
So that's why we say work life balance. But I think that it's not I think the purpose of that also is not putting your work at the center of your life.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if you can imagine like a whole circle and that's your whole life, work shouldn't be the one that you
Parang it
revolve
shouldn't
around.
revolve around who
Yeah.
you are,
Yeah, it
and what you
shouldn't.
do, and what
Yeah,
you represent.
it should be
Yeah.
equal if you want, if that's how you live your life. But if you like if you're more of holistic talaga looking, it's really important na you have something to catch you besides work. Like it's I think it's nice to also have a bit of your identity with work because I mean diba, you also say I'm a nurse, right? So I'm really a nurse. I mean, even outside of work, I'm a nurse.
Yeah. Like
So
that's who you are
yeah, it's part of who
at
you
the
are.
moment, at your current season.
Yeah. So yeah, but at the same time, it doesn't define me.
Entirely.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
define me entirely.
Because
So it's not.
you're also a daughter. You're
Yeah, it's not
also
all that I
yeah.
am. So I think that thought is where it all comes from. It's wanting to make time for other things and also keeping yourself sane.
Yeah.
Not in a way that it makes you crazy, but in a way that your work takes a lot of your time. So it's normally it's normally natural that you'd really have a certain attachment or you have a certain parang ma-affected ka talaga kasi it takes all of your time,
Yeah.
di ba? What I'm thankful for is my work is 8 hours. Usually kasi nursing, it could reach up to 12 hours. But the hospital that I'm into is trying to promote also work-life balance, and they want
Oh,
it to
that's
be like
nice.
8 hours work, 8 hours sleep, 8 hours blah blah blah, 8 hours blah blah blah. Para 24 hours.
Especially since you work
Very
around the
good.
health
Yeah,
area. So
and
it's really
and
important to promote
it's a tough
a healthy
place. Yeah, it's a
background.
I want this is a thought that I thought about kanina lang na nursing is a soft job but it's for tough people. Like in a way na it's a soft job because like
Yeah. The
you need to have a
people
heart.
skills, yeah, yeah.
Like you need to have
Patience and
yeah. Are you
empathy.
familiar with yung soft skills? Yung
Yeah,
soft
yeah.
skills na yung pagiging listener, yung mga,
Yeah.
diba we have like hard skills and soft skills. Like, yung soft skills is those that are in the in-between stuff that
Yeah.
you also need in regards, aside from the technical skills that we learn.
Yeah.
So I think that na it's like it's for soft-hearted people siguro, but it's for tough people too, because in regards to being tough, like you have to be strong internally.
Yeah.
Like
Parang you have to keep it
I'm a
together
real tough
without.
kid. I can handle
Yeah.
yeah. As in like
Yeah.
that. So there are things that you should get over with immediately para you can still get things done.
Yeah.
And there are also things na only people with big hearts can take, like in terms of dealing with difficult people,
Yeah.
or not even just patients but also with workmates, or with certain authorities, with certain people. It's really important na you have an identity also before you go in. Like you're already whole ba,
Yeah.
you can be like, like you have to have a certain personality, or you have to get over na your identity crisis before you get into the workplace, because you're like you'll get more confused siguro if you're there and people will start saying stuff, and it might make you question yourself too. So I think I established that because I took a break, right?
Yeah.
After I siguro 2 months after passing the board exam, I had December, January, like February, and almost at the end na. Kasi that's when I decided that, I want to work. Kasi I was thinking of doing something else. I kind of wanted to go to med school.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I really want to be a doctor since I was a kid, and but I also like nursing as it is, because
Pero
I like how
do
it's a
you
fallback.
see yourself at some point in the future? Would you pursue
Med.
med?
Yeah.
Like be a doctor?
Yeah.
For now, muna in your
I think
season.
so.
Nurse muna. And then like
Yeah.
at some time in the
Honestly,
future.
I can
yeah.
take.
I'm
even,
rooting for you.
I
Let's
can
go.
take even
Let's go,
5
doc.
years.
Yeah.
I can take even 5 years as a nurse, and
Nice.
then eventually get into medicine. Like,
Nice,
for
yeah.
me, it's a nice job din yung pagiging doctor kahit when you're super old.
Yeah.
Kasi like I have relatives who are already older, and then they're like consultants. Their job is not as hectic as a nurse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's a nice job to have. Like, you're like a consultant already, or you're already what do you call those words? Veteran. Parang veteran
but-
ba yun? Yung parang you're
Yeah, but
already
veteran like
Yeah,
parang senior.
senior ka na, matagal ka na
supervisor or
doon.
something.
So,
Yeah.
you have a place na a title. So, I think with nurses kasi, even if you're older, your job is still active.
Yeah.
So like, it's hard, right? So, I like siguro something I want to pursue talaga. Hopefully, it's still God's will. Right now naman, I'm interested in it pa din, because I also see how much doctors really make a difference
Yeah.
then in a lot of the owners then of our hospital that I'm working to are doctors, and it makes a difference talaga. More than just the title, it's I think there's something with their authority, like, right? There are things na you can really see that people, not in a bad way, but people really respect doctors.
Yeah.
Because for example, when you want to inject them, and then they would prefer it to be a doctor, I understand it kasi diba.
Yung license or the
Yeah.
certification.
Well,
basta.
technically they had more
The
years
assurance.
studying it, so they have that it's really like that. And there are things that we can't do, nurses can't do, that only doctors can
Yeah.
do. Like, we can't diagnose them, we can like say this or that. So I also enjoy, there are doctors that I really get to work with also in the hospital mismo, when I because there are doctors that do rounds, and then we
Yeah.
receive them, and we tell
Yeah.
them about the case, and then they
Like
go to the
you come with the doctor
you
while
come
doing
with
rounds,
them.
right? Check in on the patient.
So there are doctors that are really so good, and they're also nice and kind. They compliment you, or they say thank you. So stuff then. And on the other side, there are also doctors who are not so maybe, but you also see, and those are also one of the reasons why I want to be a doctor. Like, oh, I want to be a doctor. I want to treat nurses well or something like that.
Oh, that's nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, because I've been in both ways. I
Yeah.
know how hard it is in both spectrums. So, yeah. No
Alright.
shade to any
Yeah.
doctor, but yeah, that
Understandable.
makes
Alright, so I love how you talked about your love for the job, your passion for being a nurse, and then thank you for sharing to me your future plan as a doctor. I support that. I love the vision, and I hope na it's God's plan for you to be a doctor in like 5 years time, or um, whenever you decide on taking on going to med school, ganun. So I admire the part where you said that you want to be a doctor because not only you want to treat your patients on a parang higher level na you get to diagnose them and to inject what needs to be injected, or like parang higher level on medicinal purposes, but also you want to be a doctor because you want to treat nurses better because you've been there. So it's really nice the way you honored your quote unquote past work. So yeah, I admire your passion for the job, especially your heart to take care of people, take care of the sick, ganon. So, since we're talking about balancing it, what do you do during your like pastime? How do you take care of yourself? Because you take care of other people. So how do you take care of yourself?
yeah, that's a nice question also. I think I grew up kasi having a lot of hobbies. I usually pick up hobbies during summer. When I was going to school, there are so many hobbies that I pick up, especially during the summer. Like, there was a time na throughout the summer, I would just read. Like, I, I went through like 20 books or something one summer. Yeah.
Wow.
There's also a time I
So
learned how to
nice.
braid during the summer when I was like 12 years old,
Good.
13. I learned
Yeah.
how to braid.
That was a
just
trend.
I would
back
just
then,
watch a lot
I
of
miss that trend.
videos,
Braids.
cute girls hairstyles. You know those YouTube videos with braids.
Yung
And-
fishtail hair.
Yeah, it was really cool because as a girl, growing up as a girl and having long hair, thick long hair, it was important for me to know how to fix it in a way. And I practiced with my sister, my mom, stuff like that. And it really helped me explore that
Yeah.
creativity when it comes to
Yeah.
that. Because you can also make your own hairstyles from that.
Yeah.
And I also had a time when I was obsessed with nail art. Yeah, I would. Kasi, although it was okay, it wasn't really that strict, but we're not really allowed to have nail polish ata when I was in school, back in high school. But I explored that during the summer also, and practice those things. That was also a trend before.
Yeah. In nail
Like,
art, you
what,
like
11, 10 years old?
can put
Yeah.
flower designs,
Yeah,
or
yung-
stars, or glitters.
Yeah, mga ganon.
Sa cutics.
And I don't really do that na kasi we're not allowed to have that in nursing. And since I am in the
Yeah.
ward department,
And jewelry din, right? Po. You're not allowed.
yeah, simple lang for earrings. But in nursing kasi, since I'm in the ward department, it's important not to have nail polish because I think aside from the cleanliness of it, diba, for example, you're going to insert an IV cannula.
Yeah.
Pangit naman ang haba ng nails
Yeah.
mo or may
Parang
kulay-kulay.
naipon na po yung germs.
Diba?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Gets
it's
it.
important also to be neat in that way.
Yeah.
So I don't really go back to the nail art hobby anymore. But one thing that I've maintained until now is painting. It's a hobby that I liked since I was early elementary, like grade 4, grade 3.
I love the consistency. Na you,
I
you became
had
consistent
art
with
class.
at least one hobby
Yeah.
na until now you're
I
still
had
doing.
art class kasi.
Yeah.
And that really sparked my passion, especially my confidence, because when we had open house,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when we had open house and our artwork was displayed, a parent wanted to buy mine.
Ah.
Yeah, like it wasn't for sale, but they wanted to buy mine. It was
That's
just a
sure.
still life painting.
Yeah.
As in, they offered 5K
Did you?
back
Did you
then. I didn't sell it because my
Sayang.
dad didn't want me to, but it's still with
Understandable.
us.
That's okay.
But
Kasi
I
sometimes
think
there's sentimental value on it. Right?
yeah, and
That's
it
why you
could
don't
it
wanna
could be more
sell it. Yeah.
expensive pa when you're older.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even until now, there's still a part of me that wants to have an art gallery someday, or an
Hopefully.
art themed cafe, or something cute like that.
As a like when you become a doctor and then you paint yung mga organs or something.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, organs. No, I mean like
Ano ba? Medicine
yeah, but
art,
there are also a lot
medicine
of
aesthetic, and then
yeah.
there's one area in the hospital that you're working, whereas there's
Yeah,
a
they're also even in the
gallery.
hospital that I'm working. They
I
have
see
a
the
lot
vision.
of paintings around, so
Yeah.
it's nice to also promote that part because I think art is something that makes you have balance then with life. Because it is quite an expensive hobby, to be honest, especially since my favorite is oil painting, and oil paint is
It's
like
expensive. Yeah.
yeah. But the one that I just tried recently is paint by numbers.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just
I
bought
have
it in
one of
like
those.
SM department store, and then I tried, and I'm almost done. But I spent one day when I had a day off, and then in my recent day off I also continued it, and then I think I'm about to finish it on my next day off when I'm just
Nice.
gonna be at home all
Yeah, yeah.
day. So I look forward to my slow days like that, like when I'm just going to sit at the house, do anything, and also usually I like washing my clothes, like laba my scrubs and everything, and then I paint. The thing I like about paint by numbers is you don't have to think of
Yeah.
what you're gonna paint. So
Parang
you're just,
guided na.
yeah, and it's so surprising because when you're done, you're like, oh my gosh, it's like almost done. It looks so nice na pala. Kasi when it's super tiny, but you're
Yeah.
usually focusing at the tiny stuff.
Yeah,
Lang.
yeah.
Kasi you're just doing that, and then after you're done, that's when you realize the progress.
Yeah.
And I think in life, it's also like that. When you're within the situation, or where you're in a certain uh, part of your life, sometimes you don't really see the vision yet.
Yeah.
But once it's over, that's when you realize,
The
oh,
small steps matter.
yeah. Oh, there's so much progress
The
pala.
small
Or, di ba, it's a
parts
certain per color kasi, di ba,
matter,
ginagawa
yeah.
natin sa weight by numbers. So per color pa lang nakikita mo, and you focus on different
It's important also to
stuff
celebrate the small wins kasi it's part of the success.
once each color is complete, that's when you see how much the difference is. So it's like you also notice na each step you make in each effort, especially if aspect siya sa life mo na it's important to you, you'll realize na, oh, this decision was really crucial pala in
Yeah.
my life. I think I want to say this because compartmentalizing is so important. Like what I do in work, I make sure I have a slow morning, especially if my ano is on morning. But I like taking my time to get ready. Actually, sometimes I don't get to like put makeup already in work, and I usually do it at work na or what. But what really helps me mentally is when I wake up, and then I pray, I do my devo, I take a bath properly. I take a bath properly. Is there a wrong way to take a bath? I kind of take long kasi in taking a bath. Like I take
Kasi sometimes
my
people
time
diba, shower,
in baths.
wisik-wisik, and like,
I take a
go na.
long time. I think I'm faster pa nga in makeup than in bath. Honestly. Like, it's important to me.
Yeah.
So, I have specific steps kasi like shampoo,
Yeah,
conditioner,
gets,
mga ganun. So yeah. And that matters. And having a good meal, those things. And then the travel time. I really, you know what, I just recently like just did it for my own protection. But I mentioned that we do have nurses prayer that I memorized back in school, that we were told to do, and standard. But since it's not a standard naman in as practicing professionally, I just recited to myself before I start
Parang
work.
mantra to yourself, right?
Yeah. You want me to say it? I'll say it kaya.
Yeah, if it's allowed, yeah.
Yeah. The nurse's prayer that we learned is like this. It goes like this. Dear Jesus, before I dispose myself of service today, I need to take the time to pray. I want to serve you faithfully and perform my task with dignity. As I enter my place of calling, I ask for strength to help those in need. Hide my tears for the sick and aging, and let my smile be the hope they are seeking. Guide my hands as I do for them the things they cannot and others have forgotten. Provide the words I need to speak to let them know I love them so. As I do my work throughout the day, it is for you, Lord, that I pray. It is for them, Lord, that I stay. Amen. So help us, God. So yun,
That's
that
beautiful.
prayer, although it's standard and it's memorized, every time I pray it, as a working nurse, I really found that it helped me so much. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like,
I love the words.
diba
It's
when they say
beautiful.
that if it's just a memorized prayer, it's like, it loses its meaning. But when I pray it, kasi it's like a sincere cry out to God, na Lord, please help me today. Kasi there are days that are really more difficult than others. I have cases that are more difficult than others, or just a certain mood that I'm not super in my head yet, or there are times when I'm lutang, I didn't sleep properly, so that prayer just comes in clutch, and it really helps me also compartmentalize na, okay, this means na I'm already here. I left everything outside. I I'm putting it on hold muna my life. Now it's my time to serve and be there for the life of other people, for their
Yeah.
lives.
That's actually, I mean, there's a familiar thing that one of my professors told me whenever we feel afraid to try something new or like experience something beyond our comfort zone. She just tells us na do it first, like put your best foot forward, parang saba ka muna, and then that's when you analyze yourself if you can really do it, and then don't be afraid to ask, don't be afraid to voice out what you need, and then just continue to go on kasi parang there's a purpose on why you're there. So it's important to put your best foot forward. That's really
Yeah,
nice.
that's a nice saying. Put your best foot forward, because sometimes our foots are not all the
Yeah.
best. That makes sense. Like, there are steps now we just make carelessly. So putting the best foot forward puts more thought and intentionality to what you're doing, and it's super important when you're dealing with lives, because it's crucial. I mean, especially if they're in a stressful situation or something they didn't want or didn't expect, and all they see is you're their nurse.
Yeah.
So like, being there for them and parang letting go muna of what you have to deal with in your own personal life is important.
So with everything, like, I mean, this episode is not just for the working people. I think it's also applicable to people like me or students or those who are looking for their career, or like to those who are in a slow pace or fast pace in their season. I think it's important to just focus on where you are now and enjoy the season that you are in. Because sometimes there are moments in my life where I just want to get over it. Sometimes I ask, what's the point? What's the point of this? And then I just came across a post. I think I shared it on Facebook. She said to remind yourself of God's purpose for you and why He put you on that season. And then if you're having those thoughts of you just want to get it over with, you don't mind your performance anymore. Parang you should just remind yourself that you do this for God, or like um in whatever you believe in. Parang you remind yourself of the purpose as to why you're doing what you're doing. Like we mentioned earlier, best foot forward. But there are days where it's harder than the other days. So it's not always a smooth ride. So there are bad days, there are bad work days, there are bad school days, but it's always important to remind yourself of why you're doing this.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when it gets hazy, the purpose, at least you have at least people who you're fighting for. I think that helps me, because even if I lose my purpose or my why at that time, I say, oh, but I have family who are relying on me for certain things. I have workmates who believe in me that I can do this. I have I have myself who survived thus far. So I can still keep going because even if sometimes parang hindi ko na alam bakit ginagawa to, or like napapagod na ako maghanap ng rason, parang it's important to know that there are certain people fighting for you as well, and it gives you the motivation to also fight for yourself and fight for that purpose that maybe you have yet to find. And even if it's like a gap, a huge gap, or like a valley, um once you see the view eventually, it will be worth looking back to as well.
But it's also important to remember that, like what you mentioned earlier, na it's not all about work. Because sometimes people hold on to their work, but that's all that they have. If they don't work, they feel like they don't have a purpose. But I think it's important to, again, remind ourselves of who we are. Now, we're not just workers per se, but we're also a part of someone's life. We're also, because we're also daughters, and then some people, um, they're also parents. So my heart goes out to like the retirees. Sometimes kasi my mom is retired, so there are moments where she feels like she doesn't have a purpose anymore because she doesn't have a job or like passive income and stuff. But it's important to delve into your identity.
Yeah, and I think it's good that as early as young as we are, as early as much as possible, even at your teens, you already have a certain identity. You already know. And I admire those kids. You know those kids with big personalities at a young age. Like I think it's super weird, but I had a crush on this kid when I was a young kid, and I think what I admired about him was he already had such a personality at a young age, like at elementary grade 3, 4, and and having that sense of knowing and a sense of confidence at a young age really helps as you grow up. Because even if you can still get lost when you're early 20s to late 20s, 30s, or what, having a solid ground. And I think that has a lot to do with your growing up with your parents, with your family life, because that's where we start. So
That was actually a really fun thing to talk about. Again, thank you so much, Ate Nissi, for taking the time to be with me. I know my podcast is only voices, but I just want to share na it's a nice scenery that we're here sitting on a. It's not really a park, but it's nice that we're sitting here. It's the wind. And
yeah, I wish you guys can feel the vibe here as well. Like if we can paint a picture, it's cold, breezy, but we're on top of a building, and the vibe is like a park, but we're sitting on turf.
I really enjoyed the
And
conversation.
yes,
I learned so much from you.
thank you. I also did learn a lot from you.
I hope our listeners will enjoy this one
Yes.
for them to hear. So yeah, before we end, is there anything you want to promote or like
Promote.
share on your separate things? Do you want them to follow you on social media?
If you want to work as a nurse, just message me if you want to know where I work.
Advice?
Because they're always hiring in where I work. So if you're interested, yeah, you can just message me. I am Nisi Pialago on
I'll
Facebook.
just put your link
Nice to
on
meet
the
ya in Instagram and TikTok.
description.
I have some vlogs from time to time. Yeah, I think that's what I'll promote. Yeah, because I'm not big, but I do enjoy it when there are people who like, comment. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all. But yeah, I think I can just share na whatever your passion is in life, it doesn't have to be your work also. Like even if I'm interested in art and sometimes I get confused where I'm really interested in. Um when it comes to work, uh I realize in myself na the service kasi that's one of my love languages kasi it's also important to know that your love language kasi it will be natural for you when you work. If you're naturally a service person, so find a job that has to do with service or if you're naturally giving, mga ganun. So, it's important to learn the basics when it's about yourself because you'll know what job will suit you. So, yun lang. Thank you so much.
Alright, guys, that's it for our June 2024 episode. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned a thing or two from Ate Nissi and I. And I'll put her information on the description box if you want to get to know her more and learn more. So, yeah, again, thank you so much for all the support, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye. Love you all.